I'm Rob.
I'm E.
Welcome to the next movement, folks.
Oh come, God's blessings to thee. I come from the cold city, with narrow streets and buildings so high. The gray expanse beneath the sky. She twitches and paces and talks to herself. She waxes and wanes into her own death, with years and miles behind her. Alone she dies with only the devil beside her. I should have killed her.
This is your end of year 2025 episode. And we're doing things a little differently this year. In the past, we have been joined by fellow podcasters. So we've had folks like John Morrison and Josh Lighty from Serious Rap Shit, Cam from Crate 808, Luke Bailey from Fly Fidelity, Cinema Side, Dylan Green from Real Notes, and then, of course, last year we had Don Will, host of the Almanac of Rap, one half of Tanya Morgan, join us as well. This year, we had some scheduling constraints. We realized that due to some international travel, it was going to be a little challenging for us to put together sort of a traditional episode for you. So we're doing things a little differently. This year, we've invited some friends of the pod to tell us about some of their favorite records. So you're going to hear from a number of folks in this episode, some of whom you might be familiar with if you've listened to the show, some of whom maybe new to you. And they're going to talk about records that maybe you're familiar with and maybe you're not. So the hope is that maybe you learn a little something new from this, or maybe you're reminded of something that you loved and haven't listened to for a little bit. It's by no means all encompassing, okay? So we're not saying this is a complete list by any means. These are just some of our favorites. We did ask folks to try to contain themselves. So we asked them to pick 3 albums and to spend no more than 3 minutes total talking about those albums, trying to keep this nice and tight for you. So keep that in mind as you're listening. If you don't hear your favorite record on the list, it's not because we didn't like it. I mean, maybe, I don't know. But it's more than likely because, it just wasn't one of the ones that we chose to focus on. So with that in mind, please enjoy End of Year 2025 by The Next Movement.
Every year that Rob and I do this, it becomes harder and harder for me to just pick 3 albums, but I've managed to narrow it down, and here they are. The first is List of Demands by Damon Locks. For me, this album is truly a masterclass in how to use sampling to create a narrative and to tell a story. I mean, Damon does it beautifully throughout the entire project. Every voice that he features, every piece of music that he samples, every sound that he creates fits together so perfectly, and it was clear to me from the moment that I listened to this project that he was super intentional about that. And it just made for such a powerful record. I mean, there is just some deep, important messages that are on this record, and if you've not heard it yet, you really need to tap in. The second album that I could not stop listening to is The Beautiful Malaise by Everything is Psychedelic. If you don't know, Everything is Psychedelic consists of Tony Montana and Psychedelic Ensemble. This record blew my fucking mind. the moment I heard it. I mean, I have never listened to anything like this. It is just fucking crazy in all the best ways. And it really reiterated for me that Tony Montana can do fucking anything. I mean, this dude is a genius. And, teaming up with Psychedelic Ensemble, it just works so well. It's just a really, really incredible record. I love it. And there is nothing else like it. That's one of the things that makes it so good. It's one of one. And if you've listened to it, then you know what I'm talking about. My third album pick is Goth Girl on the Enterprise by the one, the only Fatboy Sharif. I had this album for weeks before it came out. Sharif sent me an advance copy, and I wish to Christ I could have just shouted from the fucking rooftops how incredible the project was as soon as I tapped in, because, oh my God, I was ready to explode. I just remember sitting at my kitchen table listening to the album on my laptop and smiling so hard, because Sharif is just one of the most imaginative, creative MCs that I have ever known. And when we talk about pushing hip-hop culture forward, Fatboy Sharif should be at the center of every one of those conversations, because that's what he's been doing. And this is just another example of that. And my God, him and Robert Williams, the dream fucking team, they can do no wrong in my eyes. I mean, this album is just so great. Sharif did a recent interview with Alternative Press, and, he was talking about the films, that inspired this project, and just talking about creating worlds, and he's so good at that, right? He is so good at doing that. This project is only 13 minutes long, but man, you are finding yourself in so many different worlds in such a short amount of time. You don't even realize what's happening. I just fucking love this album so much, and I fucking love Fatboy Sharif so much. Shout out to the homie. Well done. Those are my favorite albums from 2025. I can't wait to hear what yours are. Have a wonderful holiday, and we'll see y'all next year. Peace.
Body temperature, rising, brains off. She separated herself from me, and holy declaration for the church soul. Body temperature, rising, brains off. She separated herself from me, and holy desperation. When it changes up, body temperature rising, brains up. She separated herself from me. In holy desperation, when it changes up. Love, life, limit, lay it in the womb. Provide a premise, passion, heartstrings. Magic marksman, morbid chaos, well assume.
Chill. Big shout out to the whole Next Movement fam. Big shout out to Robin E. 2025 been a super wild, ill year for hip hop releases. I gotta say the three of my favorite that I'll hold on to. I would say the first, big shout out to the homie Billy Woods. That Gollywog album was super duper ill, and I would say just added to his legacy of just amazing work. Big shout out to the whole way that the album was put together. The whole rollout was ill with it too. The whole dog kind of being the character, the videos, and it was definitely one of his darker projects, but it definitely still had that same Billy Woods sense of humor and everything else that we all grew to love him for. So big shout out to him for that. And I'll say it has my favorite song of the year on there, Waterproof Mascara. Big shout out to Preservation for that. Second one, I had to say big shout out to my homegirl DJ Haram. Beside myself, it's another super ill project that stuck with me through the year, and it's dope because I went to the album release party for it, and me just hearing it and kind of just hearing everything, how it was put together, hearing her talk about it. And it definitely was like a one-on-one project for me this year, because especially within the hip hop realm, like it was production on there that she gave MCs that you don't typically hear. So the joint with Arm & Hammer was super dope. The joint with Sharé, the joint with shout out to my homegirl from Baltimore, Yoko. Like again, super dope. Push the boundary for this year for hip hop releases for sure. And I would say my number 3 is, and I never do this, but big shout out to my brother Drive-By. Me and him with the Let Me Out album, I would definitely say like it was another one of them albums, like taking myself out of it from just all of the time putting it together, me sitting back and just listening to it. It definitely like left me in a certain way that I'm like, yo, this is a beautiful add-on to my catalog of music that I kind of definitely think I stepped it up. And it's definitely a project that to me like is, I'm always hold dear within my catalog. So big shout out to him. But yeah, 2025, we out of here. 2026, I'm looking forward to all of the ill hip hop flavor and crazy sounds that we are going to hear. Keep it going, baby. Yeah.
Peace, y'all. This is Josh Lighty from Serious Rap Shit Podcast. For my 3 albums for the year, my top 3 albums for the year, first one is going to be Chris Crack, White People Think God Left Them in Charge. I really just discovered homie, and he's one of like my favorite rappers now. I really fuck with this record. He's a producer, rapper producer, and I mean, just off the song titles alone, you should go cop this record. Songs like You Never Met a Hater in Real Life, Black Woman in the 90s Were Effortlessly Beautiful, Why Was Khalees Warming Up Them Milkshakes, and hold on, It's Kelsey Grammer the White Tyler Perry. All like just a really stellar project. Amazing song titles, like I said. Very like smoothed out. He kind of reminds me, sonically, he kind of reminds me of Nip, but he's more like style-wise, more Rock Marciano. I hear like some Stove God in there too. But yeah, Chris Crack, White People Think God Left Them in Charge. Really dope project. Check it out. My second favorite record of the year is brand new one. Just dropped recently. The De La Soul Cabin in the Sky record. You know, any album that kind of starts me off with tears. Is dope, and Cabin Soft, the album intro is dope, but like also heavy, and yeah, I think it's a really dope. It might be De La's best project for a while. It might be it's at least my favorite De La project in a little while. But Sunny Storms, the joint Run It Back they got with Nas, that joint's really dope. Cabin in the Sky is really dope. It's a super stellar project. De La is legends, and you know, rest in peace, Trugoy. You know what I mean? For my third album of the year, I'm going to go with Keep the Change by Young's Teflon. Everybody knows, who knows me, knows I love UK hip-hop. Young's Teflon is one of my favorite rappers, period, but definitely one of my favorite rappers out of the UK. Along with him and Sims, probably my 2 favorites. But this record, it's his first record off of a major label, which is really dope. And it's got like bangers on there like The Gutter, Motion, Cologne. There's some really dope tracks on here. Young's Teflon is definitely one of the best out here doing it. And I think if you haven't checked out Young's, his catalog is crazy. But this is a great place to start. Yeah, Young's Teflon, keep the change. Peace.
Rap like a monkey on crack with no pen, but it was written. I jump over beats like I'm skipping. You can't buy class even if you pay tuition. It's treacherous tells that I'm kicking. Is this the gutter? We're broke niggas ready for your butter. I'm really with the diggers, get you dug up. All my drillers Parker, and they don't carry knives but they cutters. They do it then it's time for a cuppa. I never share my biscuits, only with the crooks and the misfits. Anyone can get it, I don't nitpick. The fans say my shit kicks, so when I don't drop they need a quick fix. Like when I sold rocks by the quick fit. My whole state of mind is thinking that the state is a mess. Living rate getting lower and it's blatantly stressed. Was only 10 plus 9 when I was playing with text. Now I'm about to make an app with a lady in tech. We no shop at Frank Johnson's when I ain't have no chips. Now I got a whole room just to frame all my kicks. Old heads hear my tapes say I'm taking a piss. But they played the mixtape and they was breaking a disc. My bro just came home, he done ate in a pit. Put so much ice on his watch, you can skate on his wrist. All I do is rap in style and it make niggas sick. I'd rather eat alone than dine at the table with pricks.
So this is Merkaba, and I'm here to talk about my top 3 albums of 2025. Starting out number 1 with After by Yaz Lancaster, released on the PTP label. This is a really beautiful piece of work that I feel like fully sort of subverts any 1 or 2 labels of genre. This is an album that pulls from a wide plethora of musical techniques, including violin, electronics, drone, traditional rock, screaming, a lot of different types of things in order to create a thorough exploration of a central concept. And I think it's incredibly successful in doing this, in that I can tell that there is a lot of real experience that this album is trying to process in a lot of different nuanced ways, but also without understanding any conceptual aspect. I think just listening to this album will immerse you into a sort of different world. And within that world, I think there's a lot that we can learn both about the artist and about ourselves. Another one of my favorite albums of 2025 is La Femme du Village by Alkebulan. Now, this is an album that I think should be in a lot more people's radar. It wasn't on streaming for a long time, but this is written and produced by the incredible Alkebulan, who has been an absolutely groundbreaking and extremely talented vocalist and producer who's been making music for a long time. Their album last year, A Bowl for Lilith, was my favorite album of 2024, and La Femme du Village is a wonderful follow-up. There's not much I could say to describe this album, but I definitely encourage everyone to go listen to it if they want to experience a form of music that they really haven't before, because I feel like Alkebulan's style is so unique to them, and even in the way that they compose tracks and compose lyrics and decide to sing, they're pulling from so much of their personal experience and understanding of the world and music. And so I just think that La Femme du Village is just an important document, musical document, for anyone who really wants to hear the cutting edge of music, especially melodic Black music. And the last album I want to highlight of 2025 is 45 Pounds by Yahweh Nailgun. Yahweh Nailgun is a New York-based 4-piece band that makes music that I wouldn't quite describe as anything, rock or something like that. However, you're going to be hearing a lot of crazy drumming, synth textures and bass tones, as well as an excellent shoegaze, very Kevin Shields influenced guitar style. However, I wouldn't say that their music is necessarily, again, derivative of any one band that you've heard before. And that's what really draws me to this record, is that there's just such infectious grooves and like really original and almost unsettling textures throughout this album. Like half of it feels like it wants you to almost have fun, and the other half feels like it's trying to like show you something disgusting and decrepit, but in a way that is just incredibly musically engaging. And whatever formula they have, I'm excited to see how they recreate it or reinvent it in their further work.
Comfy, I got the fear in me. I got the
Yo, this is Karis Lamb, and these are my top 3 for 2025. Starting off, we've got Mike with Showbiz. Mike makes a great showing for the Rotten Apple with the first of 2 full-length 2025 releases, Showbiz. Less reliant on the marquee features and mind-bending soundscapes that punctuate the Tony Seltzer-produced Pinball 2, Showbiz boasts production and features from the likes of Shungu, Thelonious Martin, Venna, Harrison, Surf Gang, Dwendita, and Red Lee. Mike pulls double duty, steering the ship under his production moniker DJ Black Power. Showbiz is a journey through time, place, and personal narrative that drags the listener beneath the surface of gritty New York City into rap's rumbling, effervescent underbelly. There, the driving rhythmic interplay is constant, the smoke is plentiful, and Mike blends heartfelt introspective bars with archival audio and sticky funk and soul samples to deliver a brilliant testimonial that gives revelatory gospel feels and demonstrates the strength of street knowledge from a first-person POV for a new era of true heads. Second off, we've got New Jawn from Q3. Q3 examines the cobblestone streets and fraught experiences of life in Philadelphia on his self-produced 2025 album, New Jawn. From the macro to the micro, he lends a cinematographer's eye to the landscape, giving an unmistakable sense of place across a blues-addled self-study that is conversational in nature and driven by the gross realism and the broken but indomitable spirit of the populace. Following 2024's Last Days, the album is a top-to-bottom listen that features Groundskeeper, FOHDH Matthew, Cavalier, Mark Ryan, Navy Blue, and Pop-Tart Pete. Q's careening letter from the field is written almost exclusively in local vernacular and plays like an ode to his formative experiences, failures, and favorite haunts in the city, from its train lines to its renowned skate parks. A fitting retrospective as his album marks his entry into fatherhood. Lending beauty to endemic violence and violence to rhythm, Q3 delivers the rules of engagement for navigating one of the toughest places to survive in these United States. New Jawn is redemptive, resentful, and impossibly real, a striking capture of the latest stage in Q's inevitable rise that places long overdue flowers at the feet of the 215. Lastly, we've got Mercy by Armand Hammer and The Alchemist. Billy Woods and Elucid return as Armand Hammer with the release of their 2025 collaborative album, Mercy, produced by The Alchemist. The trio spend the duration of the project with feet on throats. The follow-up to Haram, their first collaborative album released in 2021, Mercy is cold, industrial, jagged, and surreal. It is distractingly beautiful and eerily familiar in tone and subject matter. We've met these people, maybe inside ourselves. We know their traits and the routes they travel home. Woods and Elucid lend their signature deliveries to a body of work that finds them candid about everything from the rigors of the everyday struggle to the rise of AI. These are regular guys bringing you into the ebb and flow and existential questions driving their ordinary lives. Joining them on this excursion is the creme de la creme of left of center rap, to include Quelle Chris, Earl Sweatshirt, Kaplani, and Pink Sifu, all of whom are great at culling the beauty from the grotesque and the exceptional from the mundane. This adds fuel to a fire album driven by otherworldly beats. It plays like a parlor full of curiosities in the quaint but whimsical fallout shelter of a mad scientist. In short, it is an album that doesn't require you to use your imagination very much, but it does require you to close your eyes and take the ride into the psyches of 3 hip-hop juggernauts. And there is nothing about the journey that will disappoint.
Camera shy, hands held high, where the head goes, body follows. Y'all know I'm not pressed, but I coalesce. The more you hold does not reflect where you're trying to go. I road trips through dip, skipping stones. Time zone folder, black as holes. Hands of chance, palm the rose. Dead can dance, grease the bones. Check for vitals, false idols. Peace God, I wouldn't lie though. Sign the line. Southflow Day Camp, Chinese Staircase Champ, 1991. I put razor to my head after seeing Onyx throw your guns. Born under warmth to other suns, no answer. You didn't call before you came, King's ransom. You don't wanna know what's in the sauce. You wouldn't guess what's under the floorboards. Richmond, hem and haw, away from every known side, but still won't pay what it costs. A couple scar and a few more. Ball time, hold the door with the toothpick. 2 swords, 1 on each temple. All is welcome. I was fine with a dime sack of hydro and a bootleg smack DVD off Nostrum. 20 years came and went, my face on posters plastered with the ghost of ghetto past. Pour out a little liquor, date smudged on eviction notice if you notice. Extra out the picture, not the record. 1 for good measure, 2 for getting over. Closure.
Peace. This is Rob. All right, we've heard from several folks so far. We've heard about a lot of dope records. I want to chime in. Want to give you the 3 favorite albums that I have from this past year. Just the 3 that I'm going to talk about here. Bunch of records, of course, that I listened to throughout the year. Very hard to make this decision, but here we are. All right. What I want to say about all three of these projects is they all made me feel something. And that's what sets them apart for me, the feeling. All three of them kind of brought me back into focus during times when I found myself struggling with motivation, particularly from a creative standpoint. And so these are the three albums that come to mind when I think of the three albums that kind of move me the most in 2025. The first one I want to talk about is A City Drowned in God's Black Tears. This is Infinity Knives and Brian Ennals. At the top of the show, we heard a track from this album. The track was called A City Drowning, God's Black Tears. Back in 2022, when Infinity Knives and Brian Ennals released their previous project, King Cobra, it seemed to me that they had given voice and feeling to a specific time in history that had been hard for many of us to articulate. King Cobra was dropped against the backdrop of the pandemic and the systemic meltdown that came with it. Brian and Knives made it plain that they were not going to sit quietly with the grief and sadness and anger that all of us were also feeling, but instead, they were going to put that shit on wax. This year, the duo came back in a major way and gave us A City Drowned in God's Black Tears. It's without a doubt the most overtly political project I heard over the past year, and for that matter, maybe since King Cobra came out in 2022. Brian pulls no punches. There's nothing to interpret. There's nothing to untangle. No mystery to solve. His bars are honest and laser focused. Fuck Netanyahu, fuck Trump, and it's still fuck Biden and Obama, and fuck everyone else in between who is in any way supporting genocide, racism, sexism, all the other isms. And while we're being this honest, let's be real and talk about depression and anxiety and suicide too. On King Cobra, they gave us Melancholy Boogie. It was a funk jam that sounded straight out of the early 80s dance clubs. Here we find the sequel, Everyone I Love Is Depressed, where Brian and Knives ask you politely not to kill yourself because they love you too much, all over another spaced out retro jam. If you're new to their music, then you might be a bit surprised by the compositions that Infinity Knives chooses to sequence between Brian's bars. They are crafted with intention and serve a purpose to draw the listener into a deeper and more complex emotional state. There's nothing else like it in hip-hop. Nothing. Together, Infinity Knives and Brian Ennals have become their own genre. I can't claim to know what to call it. Maybe we should just use their names. It's Brian and Knives, and they came to fuck shit up. Second album that I want to talk about is Salt by Tomorrow Kings. In a general sense, this is everything you could want from a group album. And it's everything you could want from a group that hasn't dropped an album in 12 years. What makes the group great is a variety of voices and flows that, while great on their own, come together to form something bigger and better and badder. The members of Tomorrow Kings all bring a unique sound to the group, and the shifts in volume, speed, and rhythm that this creates is invigorating. Salt begins as it should, like these guys have been let out of a cage. The energy is palpable. The sound is brutally raw. It begins with an assault that doesn't really ever let up, except for perhaps with the title track, which only serves to reinforce the seriousness of this work because, yes, the Kings are back to reclaim their throne, to rip the mic away from lesser MCs, but naturally they have some shit to say about the greater state of the world. You ever really think about the pervasive harm created by salt, the seasoning? These guys are tackling societal ills like the poison we are sold as food, the endless stream of mind-numbing marketing strategies, the unsustainable nature of the recording industry, the ongoing oppression of racist systems, and the Herculean effort required to resist overwhelming negative thoughts. All of this happens over the absolute sonic chaos that AOE created for the Kings to wild out over. The beats on this record somehow managed to capture the industrial roots in the Kings' native Chicago, while also providing the soundtrack for the dark future that these guys are all trying to warn us is coming. There's a lot of talk about drums, or lack thereof, in modern hip-hop. Aoe and Tomorrow Kings do not care. Okay, this album is nonstop, relentless, percussive assault that is just absolutely infectious to me. And the last album that I want to talk about, last but not least, is from Sun Mundi and Sasko. The album is called Contacting. Like all great art, the themes on Contacting are open for interpretation. I've listened to this project and thought about the ways in which we communicate with each other, with ourselves, with the spiritual realm, and with celestial beings. At times, the project feels like a broadcast from our dystopian present to a far-off galaxy. That is in no small part to the production. Sasko has created a bed of psychedelic noise, glitchy jazz, and fragmented grooves that feels like it has traveled a great distance through space and time. The beats bend and shift throughout the album in subtle and organic ways. Sometimes it feels like they're alive. Sun Mundi's rhymes are so present and persistent that they feel like an urgent call for attention. Help? Maybe. But more often, a wisdom beyond his years. Because what I think is really at the heart of this project is an examination of how our interactions with technology, cyberspace, and devices impacts us for better or for worse. Despite this examination, and whatever interpretation you have for Contacting, the whole thing also feels insular, as though we're listening to these artists' private recordings, meant more for self-reflection than mass consumption. Now, it might just have something to do with how the project was recorded. Sun Mundi by himself, sitting in his parked car, rapping into the air trapped inside his vehicle, trying to contact something inside himself, trying to contact you and I at the same time.
Falling asleep to a Chico Ioba, waking up to the sound of my own head, knocking me damn near dead. You better go out and reach for that emotional quota. Let's warm up those cold shoulders. Who switch my wires and cause fire to the motor? Blue and red Pepsi or Coca-Cola. Who better, Nicki or Doja? Who's the top 5 dead or alive? Give me yours and I'll give you mine. Made a classic, it's all plastic. Suck my dick, but don't tell me you love me. I don't need the closure. I'm hanging like a Basquiat in the MoMA. Tony Parker midair with the floater. You banging on the door, back to throw up. But this ride will stop until we show up. This transit gon' land grand like the transatlantic. That's American branding, outlandish. How entitled you are to shit that's stolen and never even passed over. Gravity actually underhanded, so I place all the snakes securely under the mower. The gap between being and nothing is undefeated. My feet were planted when my existential spot got blown up. Please wave hello to the Duisay Renoa. Sasko, my man, we making jams for all the planets and connecting to extraterrestrial Bluetooth owners. Better learn to alternate, cause plan A's are usually the imploders.
Yo, what up? This is Sun Mundi. My first favorite hip-hop album of the year is Matters of Substance by Tao. Tao's a young rapper and producer. I believe this is his third album. Yeah, it's a 10-track album, 23 minutes. It's a really, really cool, kind of philosophical, sort of heady, at times kind of trippy, liminal hip-hop album. And I just find that it has so much repeatability. I just feel like as soon as I'm done listening to it, I just want to run it back again. And I just catch so many cool lyrical moments and bars throughout. Yeah, he's one of my favorite writers out right now. And the project features Shamar, Morning Run, known as the joint with Morning Run is one of my favorites of the year. It's called Derivation of Constants. It's really, really fucking sick. Yeah, so that joint is crazy. Another album that really struck me this year was Emergency by Shamar. On a personal note, this album just feels like a classic to me. I hold this album quite closely, and I think Shamar just blew me away with this album in the way they arranged the beats, the sequencing of the album. It just feels like the work of an artist who's so much more experienced than they are, and that's a testament to their artistic ability. The rapping is fucking fire. The hooks are so catchy. Features all go so crazy, and then there's a beautiful catharsis at the end of the album that I feel like you need to hear the whole album, and then you need to hear how it ends. It's incredible. I've never heard an album like this. This shit is amazing. So one more album I really loved this year was Ever So Slightly by Deadpan. I feel like a lot of people who listen to this podcast might not be up on Deadpan, but yeah, they're an incredible rapper and producer. I believe they're Brooklyn based, but yeah, this album sounds like a combination of influences from Injury Reserve, Woods. It feels like kind of a marriage between those two styles of really like electronic, frenetic hip hop, and then just kind of more classic, like gritty, kind of poetic style. And this shit is just incredible. It has my favorite song of the year, like by far. It's called Macondo, with like literally 5 beat switches in it. It's so fucking sick. And this album kind of also explores, similar to Emergency, kind of explores themes of identity and growing up against the expectations of what people had for you. And it's really beautiful and touching and incredible rapping and really, really beautiful production.
Home is where the hardest opposition's flag is planted. Waver and wind pipes swift and drag the slanted. Dug in the heels and then spotted his rags to canvas. Brushing over secrets, tucked in that bag that's branded. Braggadocious in the abode, made it contentious. Thankless, stoic, and alone while evading attentions. Staying put still, other sides laden with questions. Anxious knowing the unknown, so I stay where I'm destined. Safe and definite, destinations embedded. Ingrained in its center, the shame where it's headed. Whether in decay, but the threat of its vacancy's dreaded. The rays of senses displaced, will only get saved if I let it. Was it made as a vessel of growth to get abandoned? Feels insane to call it my home, can never stand it. Fell victim to settling down, but never landed. Grave plot, eternally home, I never planned it.
Hi, I'm Dash Lewis, a music journalist, critic, and musician based in Richmond, Virginia, and I want to talk about 3 of my favorite records to come out of Richmond this year. The first of which is Fly Anakin's The Forever Dream. Fly Anakin is a member of Mutant Academy, which is a long-running collective here in Richmond, features folks like Obliv, Grey Matter, Big Kahuna OG. But for this record, he teamed up with Quelle Chris. Quelle executive produced it, adds some production, some verses, some hooks here and there. It retains that sort of bubbling psychedelia that Mutant Academy is known for, but also reaches further into Quelle's world. So you have beats from like The Alchemist and Child Actor and Mono and Stereo. Fly Anakin is one of the most technically gifted rappers working today. His ability to put together breathless lines that seem impenetrable is just incredible. But mostly this record is just really joyful. There's multiple moments where people are laughing in the studio, and you get the sense that they had a really good time making this album. I think it's his best work to date, and I'm really excited to see what this pair-up brings us in the future. Next, we have Silk Money, Who Waters the Wilting Giving Tree Once the Leaves Dry Up and Fruits No Longer Bear. This is an absolute tornado of a record. Silk is, he came up with Divine Council. It's a group from Richmond that kind of popped in the late 2010s. He's been a fairly, not prolific, but like steady in terms of his solo career for the past few years after Divine Council broke up. And works largely in collaboration with Khalil Blue, a New York-based producer and rapper. He pushes the boundaries of language and rhyme and meter like no one else. Like we're another one of the most gifted technical rappers that's working right now. There's a lot of braggadocio here, but there's also a lot of loneliness and existential questioning, sort of mushroom-induced philosophical musings. This record is loud and relentless and like pretty mind-blowing, so I can't recommend it highly enough. Finally, we have Ron Bandup with Gotham City. He's been buzzing in Richmond for a little while, but recently linked with Black Craze, Goth Money Records, which was a really good move for him. This record is really ambitious. It's pretty mind-bending, combines a lot of sounds that Virginia and the DMV are known for, like Free Car, sort of the Northern Virginia cloud rap, and that Richmond soulful psychedelia that I was talking about before. Sometimes it dips into rage rap, but it remains like it's really musically diverse, but really engaging entirely through. Ron Bandup's flow is really slippery and strange, but never offbeat. Kind of reminds me of Slime Get 'Em or Valet, or like Draco the Ruler to a certain extent. It's really galactic, this record. Super spacey and trippy. Can't wait to see what he does in 2026. You can find me on socials at Gardner Jams, GARDENERJAMS. And I write for a lot of places like Pitchfork, Stereo Gum, Bandcamp Daily. Tap in.
Better come correct. Bro, 20p like a motherfucking baseball bat. I'm outside, ain't ducking no wreck, and I walk my dog, that's my motherfucking pet. Tell him go along, that bully gon' catch, no need for a vest, we aim at your neck. Heard your brother had met that black, we outside front line on the Saints, where you at? Better come correct. Bro, 20p like a motherfucking baseball bat. I'm outside, I ain't ducking no wreck, and I walk my dog, that's my motherfucking pet. Tell him go along, that bully gon' catch, no need for a vest, we aim at your neck. Heard your brother had met that black, we outside front line on the Saints, where you at? Band up what you do. I'm outside chasing money, can't fuck with my crew. Don't get it fucked up, still knock out your shoes. These bitch ass niggas already know what you do. Like a baby gon' crawl and get tapped with this Drake, bro. Say 9K, put the case to his face. Hershey playing both sides, man, a little bitch lace. We thuggin' broad day, man, this shit ain't safe. Tryna run up dog shit, put that shit in the safe. I'm a dog in the streets, man, I can't be tamed. Tell my brother put his mask on before he aim. It's a flash up on the Glock, yeah, call Young Dame.
Peace, everyone. Wiles Martyr here with the Nuts Movement Podcast. And today I'm here to speak with you about 3 of my favorite hip-hop albums from 2025. Let's get into it. So one of the albums that I chose is entitled Book of Solomon by Solomon Faye. This came out later towards the end of the year, but definitely one of my favorite albums, in my opinion, from what I've heard this year. Overall, this project is dope. You got your rap tracks, high-level shit, real raw, rugged, sounding shit. And then you also got, the melodic vibes. Just overall, you can hear the creativity and my man Solomon concepts. And just, him showcasing his ability. Like, bro really knows what he's doing as far as executing the vision, making the song sound well, and giving you a great product that you could take with you. Tune into that for sure. So another one of the albums I decided to choose is entitled The Round Table by Knowledge the Pirate, all produced by Rock Marciano. This is a great album. If you love hip-hop and rap, this is a must listen. His production paired with the bars that Knowledge the Pirate is delivering, just a flawless match. And it's refreshing to still hear albums like this in today's time where it's a lot of music coming out. So I'm just grateful that, people like this still doing their thing no matter what age they are, no matter what year it is. Good music is good music. And this is something that I highly suggest you go listen to. It's a lot of jewels being dropped on this album, and definitely something that you could take with you. The last album I decided to choose for my favorites of hip-hop and rap as far as 2025 goes is Let God Sort 'Em Out by The Clips. It was great news to hear that they were releasing a project, because I know many people, myself included, has been anticipating new releases from them. So that was awesome. Just to hear the update of The Clips from them not releasing for so long, that was very refreshing, because it was like they gave you the same thing, but in a new way. And it was very cool to hear Pharrell's solo production. I wish it could have been over Neptune's production, unfortunately, but still was a solid piece of work and a great addition to their legendary catalog, for sure.
How I'm doing? All things considered, let's be specific. My mama cheek, I miss it, I wanna kiss it. Nige asking for siblings, I know he meant it. V miscarry, we hit it, I'm glad he missed it. 100,000 a maybe, you stick with it. Pre-order the strollers, our face in it. I pays for my stalk with the baby in it. If the sky's not your limit, you'll never get it. Turn niggas statistics, I'm so sadistic, so religious, that's so malicious. No division, still snow magicians. Blitzing niggas for riches, like 4th and inches. Pay attention and listen, the snakes hissing. Niggas is writing statements and say they didn't. Dreamer taking you down, the hate hidden. Wanna show you around, but they Jay Princeton.
Peace to Next Movement. Peace to the world. Happy holidays. Fuck the government. Dylan Green, otherwise known as Cinema Psy. And I want to talk real quick about my 3 favorite albums of 2025. The first one that comes to mind, and I'm not in front of a computer, so I hope I get this name right, is Silk Money's Who Waters the Wilting Giving Tree When the Leaves Dry Up and the Fruits No Longer Bear. I might have added an extra word in there, but Silk Money's debut on Lex Records, incredibly layered raps. Like, that man can smush an entire story's worth of words into a single bar, and it's just like white hot intensity for, like an hour. His perspective is dope. The beats he chooses to go over are crazy. I have so much fun with his work. So thoughtful, so funny, so fierce and intense. Like, just like the best type of like raw, uncut hip hop that I wasn't able to put that shit down this year. It's incredible. Like you need somebody to yell about Asiatic black men more in your life. So you got to tap into that shit. The next one that comes to mind for me is one that turned out to be my album. It turned out to be my most streamed album of the year. And it's 454's Cast of a Dreamer. So this technically came out last October as like a single track on SoundCloud, but it was released on DSPs in January, and it was my most streamed album of the year, so I'm taking it. Kaleidoscopic, like imagine listening to an album made by somebody who ate an invincible star from Super Mario and was really into Plug and Florida Fast music, and also just like some more old school traditionalist hip hop type shit. It's a beautiful, like, Technicolor mix of love and loss and PlayStation references, and that nigga just goes crazy. I love 454, love that album. And my third and final recommendation is one that I haven't seen get enough love anywhere, really. So I really felt like I needed to give my flowers and say peace to Khadija Al-Hanafi, who's a DJ. I forget I think she might be Tunisian. I could be wrong about that. But she put out this album called OK. I want to say closer to the top of the year. It's this mix of, it's like juke, Jersey club, techno, electronic, rap stuff. Like a lot of, like there's barely any raps over it, but it's just like sample-delic juke and club music told from a very cool, super danceable, which I mean, it's all danceable, but the perspective on it is super tight. It's so much fun to listen to. It like works as background music. It works as stuff to center you in chaos. It'll throw you into chaos if you're centered. It all depends on the mood. It fits into every vibe you could possibly want. And yeah, I mean, like you're gonna be dancing and shimmying in your seat on some shit. So go run that. My name is Dylan Green, Cinema Psy. I'm the creator, producer, and host of the Real Notes podcast. Peace to my people. Peace to Robin E. I also write at Hearing Things, which is a worker-owned music publication, which you should definitely subscribe to if you like criticism, interviews, blogs, music recommendations, and essays, all removed from the as far removed from the algorithm and from playlisting in like the evil Spotify sense as possible. Please subscribe. I write wherever you could possibly find writing. I'm at Cinemasai, Cinemasai on every social platform. I'm on Letterboxd. I like movies. That's what Real Notes is. Come fuck with me. Peace. Happy holidays. Fuck the government.
Yo, what's up? This is Don Will from Tanya Morgan and the host of the Almanac of Rap podcast. And here are my 3 picks for personal favorite albums of the year. All right, so I'm reluctant to say top 3. So I'll just say 3 albums that I personally really enjoyed this year. Album number 1, Von P and the Other Guys, Put Your Weight on It. Yes, I'm biased. Yes, I'm in a group with Von. But this album is his best outing with the other guys as a unit. He's been doing work with them for a while. It's always been great work, always been impressive. This time around is special. It's different. Trust me. You got Skyzoo on there, Odyssey's on there, Chez Noir's on there. It's a tight, compact joint. I want to say like 10 songs. Banger, top to bottom. The track Root for the Villain is my spotlight track if I got to pick a track on that joint. But yeah, it's really impressive work. Shouts to Von P. Shouts to the other guys. Second album, These Things Take Time by Fresh Daily and Parental. The album title says it all. Fresh has been, like around forever. Like he's one of those dudes that like, if you know underground shit, real dope shit, Fresh Daily. This album just proves why he's that dude. You know what I'm saying? He got everybody from Kelly Moonstone to John Robinson, Science, and Parental on the beats. It was really dope. And it also was one of those things that, was long awaited. If you fuck with Fresh, you've been waiting. So the title really spoke volumes to the moment that it dropped in. But yeah, that's one of my other ones. And the last one, Showbiz by Mike. Mike is a dude whose music I've enjoyed here and there, but this album was the one that just locked me into Mike. Like it made me go back and listen to all his old stuff and really digest him and enjoy him in a different way. But because, the bars are always barring. But this one was just the one for me. So shouts to that album, Mike, Showbiz. And honorable mention, I know you said 3, but I got to do this because how can I not say De La Soul Cabin in the Sky? That could have just been, the album of the year for me. Mostly because, man, how do you already know. Just, yeah. But honorable mention, De La Soul Cabin in the Sky. That's the one that I've been on loop. A Day in the Sun. Oh, my God. So that's it. Don Will. I'm out.
Sunshiny day, things you say make the clouds go away, and we've got it good. I can't wait to be with you
I walk
again.
through the city real slow, like I've been pieced together by that dude named Frankenstein, and I only got one little thing on my mind, that's a whole lot of you. Hot on my tail, be a whole lot of crew. After me, they with their pitchforks and stakes trying to backstab, but they can't grab your attention away from me and vice versa. Mama always said there'd be days like this, but never thought it'd be so soon. My days consume my thoughts of your kiss and your well-shaved legs, pedicure toes, with the sunny side up, egg yellow when it glows. The twinkle from the diamond in your nose got me climbing for the star in the rough, showing by just cuspids and sizes, canines and molars, smiling for your love as we bathe in the solar.
Yo, check 1, 2. This is Q No Rap Name, reporting in to the Next Movement podcast. I appreciate y'all having me on to do this year-end segment. I love y'all. I love what y'all do. And thank you for reaching out to me. Sorry, some traffic going on. I'm recording live from outside in the cold, going to the damn grocery store because it's about to snow. But anyway, I appreciate y'all having me on. I wanted to talk a little bit about 3 of my favorite albums from this year. There was millions to choose from. And, this was not an easy selection to make. And I'm not going to shout myself out, even though I could, because I think I had a good year. But let me get into it. First and foremost, I really wanted to shout out DJ Haram, Beside Myself. That album is beautiful. It's incredible. It's scary. It's fun. It's like sexy. It's chill. Like everything's happening. The instrumentation is crazy. I just always appreciate, like, music always makes me feel like someone has kind of placed you into a room or a world, and you exist there for a little while. So I don't like to be in a boring room. I don't like to be in a boring world. Nothing about what DJ Haram does ever is boring, and I just really appreciate what she does sonically, who she brings in instrumentation-wise. Like the Fishnets joint, honestly, is like my song of the year, straight up. Like bars, like it's a crazy hook, crazy beat, but like bars, you know what I mean? Shout out to everybody involved in that project. I really remember that one really sticking with me. And then beyond that, Fatboy Sharif, Drive By, Let Me Out. I can't say enough good things about that album or about either of those people as musicians or as people. One of the things that really stood out to me with that was like Sharif sometimes can be like distorted and warbled, and he obviously does that on this project, but there was some real vocal clarity. Sometimes I don't be hearing the lyrics when he spits, which is great because he raps like an instrument. But this one, I feel like they might have put some of that to the forefront. He doesn't post his lyrics, so I feel like I could hear a lot of the raps. And Drive By really is just one of the best doing it. He's taught me a lot personally, and he's taught me a lot just by listening to him. But it's the type of music you really just can't even attempt to describe. You really need to listen to it and sit with it for a while and just see what it does, because as far as I'm concerned, it absolutely does what it's supposed to do. Like, it elicits a response from the title to the cover to the sonics, you know what I mean? It's just really a beautiful album. I hope people hear it. And damn, I'm noticing a pattern because all these albums are real distorted and scary, but you know, I had a certain kind of year. So to round it off, I'm gonna just say Hester Valentine, my guy. I Am the Female Wheezy. I feel like that album, which I can't find anywhere. I just hit bro up to see where it's at. We all need to peer pressure him into bringing that one back if it's not up, or maybe I just couldn't find it. But I Am the Female Wheezy, that is just the edge. That is as far as you can go with as far as, you know, progressive or, you know, different alternative. I hate that word, but like alternative hip hop, like this shit kind of just feels genreless. And he's really barring out. I love that. I love when people don't just hinge on the fact or use as a crutch the fact that everything is very experimental. It's something that you could tell, obviously, you know, it's not for your average regular music listener who listens to pop music, or maybe it is, but it's so far beyond that. But he's also still barring out. Like, there's really some bars. And that's just an experimental thinker and just an experimental creator. I'm really excited to see what he ends up doing next. I hope to work with him. I hope to work with everybody that I just mentioned. I actually have worked with some of those people, but I'm gonna keep that low. And yeah, I know y'all wanted this to be brief, so let me just conclude by saying, everybody that's doing anything, please keep doing it. You know, just keep going and just keep finding out what your voice is and just use it. And shout out to everybody that I've collaborated with, especially, you know what I'm saying, shout out Teller Banks, shout out Rent Money, shout out Phil Spector, Killer Kane, Ayashi, all my peoples. Hate Island coming in 2026, Next Movement Podcast, end of the year. We signing off. I appreciate y'all, I love y'all, and I'll holler at you soon. Peace.
All right, y'all, that's it. Q No Rap Name said it. We're signing off. Peace to Q No Rap Name. Peace to Don Will. Peace to Dylan Green. Peace to everybody. Kara's Lamb, Dash Lewis, Josh Lighty. Peace to Fatboy Sharif, Son Mundi, Wiles Martyr, Merkaba. Peace to E. I hope I didn't miss anybody. I mean, shout out to everybody who we reached out to, who wanted to be involved, who couldn't for whatever reason. Listen, Q No Rap Name was right. I was going to take you out with Hester Valentine, but I can't find that shit online. So what I'm going to do is say thank you for listening to The Next Movement in 2025. We hope, aim, plan to continue to bring you new episodes in the new year. But for now, we're going to say so long and farewell, and I'm going to take you out with Q No Rap Name, because that guy, he's giving me a lot of free donuts. So shout out to him. Peace to y'all. Happy New Year.